Welcome to all my dear student. Today I am going to discuss with you about mechanism of action of antimicrobial agents. So the mechanism of action of antimicrobial agent may range from a mild astringent to powerful oxidative process. So most inorganic compounds are generally not used as anti-infective for systemic infections. So they are not administered internally. So what is that? What is the meaning of that? Inorganic compounds are generally not used as anti-infective for systemic infection, or they are not administered internally like antibiotic or sulfonamide. They are mainly used for topical application. That means an agent which applied on externally. For example, dermatological, oral, ear and ophthalmic. So they may be used with cautions. So inorganic compounds generally exhibit antimicrobial actions by involving either of the following three mechanisms. What are the three mechanisms action of antimicrobial means? Oxidation, halogenation, protein binding or precipitation. So come to the conclusion. So before going to the mechanism, so most of the inorganic compounds mainly used as a topical purpose, not to be administered internally. Okay, now let's see about oxidation mechanism. So this type of mechanism of antimicrobial agent comes under the class of peroxides of peroxy acid and oxygen liberating like permanganate and certain halogen anion. So these type of the drugs which comes under these classification only involves the oxidation mechanism. So these anti-infective agents bring about oxidation of active functional group present in protein or enzyme. So these type of anti-infective agents mainly which will attack the functional group present in protein or enzyme, so that it will stop the survival of microorganism or enzyme vital to the growth. That means which will stop the growth of the microorganism or survival of microorganism. This causes change in the conformation of protein, thereby it alters its function. So how the mechanism of action under oxidation, what are all the type of classification of the drugs comes under oxidation, like peroxides of peroxy acid. Second one, those drugs which can liberate oxygen, for example permanganate, and next certain halogen anion. So these drugs comes under oxidation mechanism. Let's see example for a free sulfhydryl group has been essential for functioning of a variety of protein and enzyme. Suppose so this sulfhydryl group is essential for the protein and enzyme functioning. So under these anti-infective drugs, what will do, come under oxidation process, which will alter the functions of the protein or enzyme, so that the sulfhydryl group break into disulfide. Okay, so this is the best example for the mechanism of action under oxidation. Next we'll see about halogenation mechanism. So what are all the drugs comes under this halogenation mechanism? For example, those drugs which liberate chlorine or hypochlorite or iodine act by this mechanism. Only three types of drug like which can liberate chlorine, for example chlorinated lime and hypochlorite or iodine. So iodine in the form of iodine and mild silver protein, iodine act by this mechanism, for example weak iodine, strong iodine and aqueous iodine. That means iodine and the halogenation, we know the example for halogenation like chlorine, bromine, fluorine, iodine. These types of drugs can undergo halogenation mechanism. So this category of agents act on peptide link. So the main focus of that anti-infective drugs which will act on peptide link and alter its potential and property. So the destruction of specific functions of protein causes so the destruction of specific function of protein causes death of microorganism. So let's see now how it will attack on the peptide. So most of the enzymes are proteinous in nature. The protein molecule is composed of a variety of amino acid connected through peptide linkages. So as hypochlorite are found to chlorinate peptide linkages. For example, now you may see the example given, amino acid. So it is mainly composed with a variety, like a protein is mainly composed with a variety of amino acid. This amino acid can connect with the peptide linkages. So while anti-infective agents like which can liberate chlorine or drugs comes under halogenation mechanism will alter their functions by removal of hydrogen, thereby will attach with the chlorine group, so alter the protein, so which will destroy the microorganism. So the substitution of chlorine atom on the nitrogen of peptide linkages, here nitrogen of the peptide linkages causes the change in hydrogen, here causes the change in hydrogen, forces responsible for proper orientation of the protein molecule. Hence the functions of protein cannot be carried out. Okay, so this is the best example for those drugs comes under chlorine, that means which can liberate the chlorine and hypochlorite and iodine derivative, like you may give an example, aqueous iodine, strong iodine and weak iodine. These are the example comes under halogenations. Next we'll see about protein precipitation. So how the protein precipitation act on microorganism, that many metal ions exhibit protein binding or protein precipitation. So we already known about the protein or enzyme of maximum, it is mainly proteinous in nature. So many metal ions exhibit protein binding or protein precipitation. So the nature of interaction with the protein takes place through polar group of protein. That main mechanism under involves here these type of anti-infective drugs, those which involve the protein precipitation mechanism, which mainly focused on polar group of protein of the microorganism, which act as ligands and metal ions as Lewis acid. So this thereby which form the complex formation or maybe a strong chelate, giving rise to inactivation of the protein. So that it make a complex formation with the protein, thereby which will affect the polar group of the protein thereby which destroy the microorganism. So the germicidal, the depending upon the concentration used in the extent of reaction or astringent or irritant, corrosive or even caustic action has been observed in the host. Okay, and here the protein example for the mechanism of action of the drugs under protein precipitate, for example silver nitrate, mild silver protein and strong silver protein, and boric acid, borax, and mercury compounds like mercury, yellow mercuric oxide and ammoniated mercury. These all comes under mechanism of, these are the drugs involves the protein precipitation mechanism. Likewise, one more example also we may say under halogenation mechanism, for example tincture of iodine also comes under halogenation mechanism. Thank you.